Hey everybody. Hi Stevie, you're first on today. Welcome. Hi MJ and Co. Okay, so I started at a different spot this time. Last time I started down at the lake, and Nirvana realised, but a little insane. I love your name, Stevie. I always get a bit of a kick out of seeing your new names each time. My camera's doing weird things. It's flicking. All right, bear with me. I'm just going to turn the gimbal off for a second and turn it back on again. I'm going to try and sort out this weird ticking thing that's going on. 1 second. Just close your eyes for a moment. Okay, let's see if that's resolved it. That seems to be better. It's not ticking this time, so hopefully that's resolved it. All right, so I'm starting in a different spot. Go is a steel and iron town. So there's a little sculpture trail here that leads us to the start of the blast furnace park. So I just thought I'd start here today instead of down at the lake. We'll probably finish at the lake today. Gorgeous morning. Look at it. If I look over my shoulder, though, things are looking a little bit ominous in that direction. I'm hoping that doesn't turn into rain. I've got this fabulous old train bridge here. And then in the background, we get the first glimpse of the blast furnace ruins over on the hillside over there. That's where we're headed. So let's go. 5 minutes early. We're just going to walk and talk until we get to the blast furnace site. How's everyone doing today? Good morning. Hi Anne. Hi Hadrian. Did someone else join that I missed? No, I got MJ and Co. Excellent. And DT. So I'm not sure what this place is, but they seem to work with a lot of metal, and that's sort of typical of the industry around town. And then we've got this classic old car here in a bit of a sad state, old Valiant Charger. Who remembers those? There's another one of these sculptures here. It's in front of a telegraph pole, so it's a bit tricky to see. Let's see. I wonder if that represents wind blowing, perhaps. Could do, maybe. Okay, so we'll cross the road and head up the hill. We've only got a very small group this morning, so it's almost a table for four, isn't it? Right, so let's cross the road here. And I'm hoping in another tour to actually bring you to S Bank House, which is where this is signposted. S Bank, I can't say it. S Bank House is where the first foundry owner lived. The first gentleman who established the site here back in the late 1800s. Okay, so here we have another one of these sculptures. What do you think? Is it a bird of prey, perhaps, this one? Looks pretty fabulous against that sky, doesn't it? Pretty interesting. Okay, let's take a walk up the hill. I'm having Andre from Amsterdam joins us. Do you think it's a rat? Shall we go and have a look at it from a different angle? It's definitely got a tail. Hang on. That's against the tree. That's no good to us. Yeah, I think it's a bird. I'm going with bird. It looks like wings, doesn't it? There we go. Alrighty. Good morning, Bronwyn. So here's the first glimpse of the blast furnace ruins over in the background there. I'm hoping Andre will join us because he is very helpful and knowledgeable with all things to do with geology and that sort of thing. In front here we've got a little pocket of black-faced sheep just over there in that field. Hi Dee. Hi Culture. And when we get over there we have to be a little bit careful. I can clamber around on that site a bit, but the signal is affected when we get inside those ruins, so I just need to be a little bit careful clambering around over the site. Good morning, Peter. I remember you were on this tour last time, so I started from a slightly different, coming from a different direction. Let me zoom out again. We're just looking at those black-faced sheep in the foreground. And if you've got any questions about this sort of iron foundry and blast furnace related stuff, I think from memory Peter was the man to ask. All I'm doing is pointing you to signs and introducing you to the relics. The people with the real knowledge are hopefully the ones that are going to join us on this tour. Hi Maxine and hi Michelle. So this is a big lump of whatever was produced by the foundry. So Andre, I think, gave me the name of it, and of course I've forgotten what it is. Was it something called slot or something like that? Hi Jeff, hi Maxine, hi Robin Ann. Stephen, we'll muddle through together. Did I say Stephen? I meant Stevie. Yes, so this stuff here apparently is something that was produced by the foundry, so it's leftover stuff. And I apologise for my lack of knowledge in the whole iron foundry steel producing area. Slag. Yes, is it slag? That might be it. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Bronwyn. And then over here we've got something buried in the ground, which looks a little bit alien. Let's go and see what this is. Do you think there's something alien buried under here? I'm hoping there's a plaque that tells me. There's nothing. I have no idea what this is. Yes, familiar with that connotation, Stevie, and we'll be careful using that word. Only use it where relevant. All right, I noticed that we're 2 minutes into the tour. So, good morning, everybody. It's a little bit breezy out here in Lithgow. We're meeting in Lithgow today on the site of the old blast furnace, which was immensely important to the town of Lithgow and a large part of its regional economy and industry. My name's Lynn, for anyone who hasn't met me before, and before we begin I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting today on the traditional lands of the Wiradjuri people and pay respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. Alright, so let's turn this around. You don't want to be looking at me, we've got far more interesting things to be looking at. And it's a lovely day out here in Lithgow. It's a little bit chilly, quite breezy. The breeze is brisk, and there's a lovely shot of the blast furnace just through the trees there, with old mate and his pup. Bronwyn, yes, and DT. I think you both said that word. Hi, Dee, and hi, Leslie. The correct term for the leftover remnants in iron and steel production. So here's another relic. Let's treat this as a postcard tour rather than a knowledge tour. Where possible, I'll try and get you in contact with information as we go along. But I just think this is an amazingly wonderful and interesting site. But I don't have the knowledge that goes along with it, unfortunately. There we go, an old chimney, perhaps. Hi, Una. So we're at the foot of the mountains here. We've got the range just over there in the background, and this area is rich in both coal and iron, and it was hugely important for iron production, largely for railroad tracks in the early days, back in the early 1800s. The furnace didn't open here until the late 1800s, but they were already producing steel and coal in this area. So I just thought I'd show you these old scenes that are painted on a facilities block here. Right, so we'll take the logical trail this time instead of clambering over the top of the hillside like we did last time. Excellent. Let's all go to Stevie's place. That sounds like the place to be. Let's get those garbage bins out of the frame, and that will frame it a little bit better for you. It looks like it's a popular place for the locals to walk their dogs. I was going to schedule a sunrise tour here a few weeks ago, but the information that I found online said that the park didn't open till 9. I couldn't work that out because I can't see any gates anywhere. So we might attempt to do that sunrise tour again another day. Okay, I'm going to start by going over this side here and looking at this monument before we actually get to the ruins and walk around the site itself. This gives you a little bit of background as to how the preservation of the site came about. And it says here that the Lithgow blast furnace park, it's not very, it needs a little bit of restoration. This itself, the sign, I think, was done for the bicentennial of 200 years since Captain Arthur Phillip arrived in Sydney Harbour. So there was a lot of money being poured into sites all around the country in celebration of the bicentennial, and each town and region channeled that funding into projects that were important to them. Yes, the operations for the furnace itself are now, they were moved to Port Kembla, which is down on the south coast, south of Sydney, but there is still significant coal mining in this area. fact, we drove down to get here from where I live. We drove down that hill there and past one of the collieries on the way down, Clarence Colliery. And look, it's a Pokemon Go site. Who does Pokemon Go still? Hi, Camillo. Okay, so with the help of signs, I'm going to guide you over the site. As I said, I've already apologised for my lack of knowledge, so we're going to use the signage to help figure out the important parts of the site and orientate you. So this talks about the Thomson Engine House, the largest engine in Australia, and these are the foundations of the structure that housed a horizontal reciprocating steam engine. It was manufactured by Thomson & Co in Castlemaine, Victoria, and weighed 335 tonnes. At the time of installation in 1923, it was the largest engine of its type in Australia. So let's look down. It's a bit like looking down on the Colosseum. I mean, we're looking down into all these chambers and walkways and different areas here. And then there's a pond of some sort. I'm not sure what the pond was for or whether it's just an accidental pond. But over the hillside, that's where we're going to head in a moment after we've checked out the site, there's a lake, and that was used for cooling in the production of steel. So there's a lake over that side. Here's the main attraction. A spectacular main building of the old blast furnace. Hi, Edith. And hi, Jack. So let's walk over in this direction. And feel free to chime in if you've got any information that helps everyone and fills in the gaps in my knowledge. Hi, Julie. So welcome to Lithgow. So far we've got 5 bars. Last time I was here, I went actually inside this building to get that gorgeous view looking up to the sky, and the signal plummeted, cut out completely. So I will leave that till very last to see if we can manage to do that again. Okay, so this point here talks about the steam and gas and the boiler house. Yes, DT, and it seems every tour I do seems to have some sort of a connection to our industrial past and our current connection to coal and mining and industry. I was checking them off the other day, and it's quite surprising the number of tours that have a coal connection. So this is talking about the boiler house. To the west of the engine houses are the sparse remains of the simple shed that housed the boilers. These include the tram rails that served as corner posts for the boiler house and iron bolts that once held down the metal chimneys. So it asks or invites us to look up high on the outer surface of the west wall of the Davy engine house. It bears a stain of oil sludge and steam exhausted through a circular ventilator. Okay, so that, I guess, would be, we'll probably see it better as we walk around on the path, but I'm guessing it's referring to underneath that round opening. Okay, while we're standing here, let's just grab a shot of this wall and the views through those windows. All right, so as I said, we'll come back to the main engine house, the Davy engine house. It could be seen as that, couldn't it, Stevie? Especially since there's no other purpose for that building any longer. Okay, let's have a look. So this is the oil and sludge that it was referring to. What I'm going to do is a vertical shot at this point. Bear with me. 1, 2, 3. So there's the oil and sludge that it was referring to coming down through that opening there. Now I'm going to get back further so we can get a better shot of this. And come back to normal now. 1, 2, 3. I believe there was some population shift DT, but Lithgow is still a thriving town. We can actually see much of it from this angle here. My daughter, in fact, has just bought a house in Lithgow. There's still mining in the area, and it's still very much on the main thoroughfare out of town, heading west. In fact, it's where two highways meet. So it still has relevance as a township. I'm not sure what this is. There's no information here at all. But there we go. Maybe it was a furnace. Maybe it was where they did the burning. So along this side here, apparently one of the former owners, when he was finished and decided to move out, he was adamant that it would no longer be used as a blast furnace. So he brought along 2 dray loads of explosives and actually destroyed the site. All right, so this is the historical engineering marker, acknowledging that this site has importance to the Engineering Society. I don't know if you can read that, if that's close enough for you or not. Let's see. So it simply acknowledges that the Lithgow blast furnace is an important site from an engineering point of view. So these 2 walls here that we're standing alongside or in between were formerly part of the storage of raw materials. So what I'm going to do is give you the opportunity to take a postcard of this information if you wish. And it talks about hoisting the trucks and the material bins. And something called Daddy Longlegs, 2 elevated parallel concrete walls behind the material bins once formed the base of a travelling crane that was used to stockpile materials. And I assume that it's referring to that device there. So here's the real UFO, Stevie. Here's the one that you'll be interested in. Possibly 2 of them, in fact. So it looks like the lid of something. We'll go back and have a look at them from another angle in a moment. But that up there on the top of the hill, look at that. Isn't that incredible? And I'm going to try and get another angle of that, which is really quite artistic. So let's see if we can get in closer to that in a moment. So here's this big steel plate I was referring to. Hi Christine, and hi Louise. And then if I stand back a little bit, we'll get the top of the engine house in this shot as well, against the sky. does, doesn't it, DT? It definitely looks like a lid or a flying saucer. Okay, what do they say here? Maybe this will give us some idea. They talk about stoves and chimneys. And if you like to take a postcard of that, you might be able to get some more information after the tour. And then on this side we have refers to the Barrowmen, and that's what the site would have looked like in, I believe it says 1907. This is what the site looked like. Yes, I'm thinking that as well. I'm looking at something like that in the middle there is possibly what the lid is. Do you think, DT? Okay, let's go around this side. I do want to try and get up. I managed it last time, but the way that I took was a little bit hairy, a little bit risky. I want to see if there's another way of getting up there, but I don't like my chances. So this is like a round cylindrical structure here, and that has that lid in the background and the engine house. Oh, did you get a good lens flare there? I missed it. I'm trying to shield my eyes from the sun, so I didn't see it. And then over here we have the truck drop pit. So a handbrake controlled the descent of the wagon drop when the wagon had been placed on it. I can't see where the tracks are that it's referring to, though. I wonder if they still are here or if they've been lifted. I think I've reached a dead end at this end of the site. We didn't come this way last time. Perhaps the tracks were up on that concrete wall. Anyway, does that make an artistic picture for you? I'm not sure if that does, but let's get in close to it for you. The wind's picking up and the sky's going grey. So we'll head back here. There's a big fence all the way around here, so we can't get up. We can't get up onto that hillock from this angle, so we'll have to go back the way we did it last time. So I'm going to need all your help to climb these narrow steps. I love the way you view the negative space, Stevie, as I call it. We're showing the subject, but in around the subject is the background or the negative space. Look at that against the sky. So some of the pictures that are shown around the site, I also have in my my media that I can attach. Yeah, I think that way is a little bit dodgy. I'm not going to try and climb up there. That's too hard. We'll go around the other way. The way I did it last time. I'm sure I can do it again. Okay, what do we got here? Is this going to make a good postcard? You can see why this place is popular with photographers at sunrise and sunset. And since we don't have any old castles like the Europeans do, okay, so this is the stairway. Is anyone on this tour today that wasn't with me last time? That's what we're going to tackle now, because we want to go up and get this great shot of that slag up there. And we are using that word in its correct context. All right, so it's steep and narrow, and the steps themselves are quite narrow. But I managed it last time, so I'm confident I can do it again. Okay, I do have this pipe to hang on to, so that helps. And if it gets dicey, we can always turn back. But this is why we're here. We want to see this. Okay. Now I'm going to get right up close to it so we've got nothing but sky behind it. First of all, let's get that blowing grass shot for Stevie. And I'll get down low as well if I can. Okay. Now a little bit closer. Which way did I do this last time? Where's the path? There's a path around here somewhere. You can see the weather changing. Isn't this incredible? Imagine a shot of this at sunrise. I'm trying to figure out where's north, south, east and west from here. Where are we? I think we're looking north right now. And can you hear the rustling grass in the wind? Okay, let's go around the other side and see if the sky is bluer from the other angle. Yeah, the clouds are coming in. Oh, do we go from this side? There we go, that's not a bad shot. Okay, so we have to go back the same way we came. But here's this lid, DT. Here we go, look at this. Thanks, Stevie. I once thought I was going to do photography, but I just didn't have the patience for it. But I do love good framing. Okay, let's see, turn this battery pack on. I just got a low battery signal. Yeah, look at that. There's like a cave down there. So I wonder if they've been using that for shelter and have little campfires and illegal substance smoking. All right, so let's see how we go getting back down again. It's a shame it's getting dark. There's the clouds, the sun's behind the clouds. So we'll take the opportunity to climb back down this ridiculous set of stairs. And this is going to be the hard bit, especially with my hair blowing in my face. Okay. Here, look. This is what I'm dealing with, guys. I should have tied it back. Oh well, never mind. So where's those stairs? Here they are. We have to get down here. Now, did I go backwards like a ladder or forwards last time? Let me think. I think I went backwards. Help. Right, first step's always the hardest. I think I'll sit down to do it. All right, here I am sitting down. Look, while I'm here, pose like a pixie. Here we go. We ready? Do I have that shot ball in the background? No, can't see it. Where is it? Where's it gone? Yeah, I'm ridiculously careful. It's when I'm not careful, when I'm not dealing with with stupid stuff like this. But this is where we're going to go down now. So you pay attention to the background while I pay attention to the steps, and be grateful for all those fantastic shots that I managed to get for you. Because now we just have to get down again. And there's no one around. So you're the guys that are going to have to call the emergency services if you suddenly see the camera go skywards. Okay, we've found the pipe that I can hang on to, so that's good. There we go, back on terra firma. Whew, let me just have a breather. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Kamuji. All right, now, I really want to go in and see if we can get the shot looking up at the sky. But if there's any sign that the signal's going to fail, I'll be scooting straight back out again, and bear with me because we will get it back. I've got 5 bars right here. Let me give you that vertical shot against the sky first. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're quite close to it. I'm zoomed out as far as I can. And we'll go back again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm going to go up those steps. We're going to try and get the up through the middle at the sky shot. But that's where my signal failed on the last tour. So fingers crossed, everybody. See how we go. So far, so good. So far, so good. The signal will not fail. Absolutely. Thank you, Stevie. That's what I need. More of your kind of encouragement. Okay, let's see. Want to get that shot up there. And I want to turn it around. Come on, turn. No, this way. Come on, gimbal. Turn around. It's not turning for me. We'll go this way instead. All right, let's do a vertical shot from here. 1, 2, 3. It's really tricky. I can't go back any further. I've got my butt wedged against a railing. The signal's perfect still. So while we're here, I'm going to turn to my left. And we'll just do a quick rotation. Okay, I'm coming back to horizontal again. I know it's awkward viewing sideways, so let's go back to horizontal. All right, success. Let's go out this way. Don't fail, don't fail, don't fail. Quick, 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 quick. Oh, gee, I feel like we got lucky or something. So you can see the impression of where the other building was located next to this one where it's been removed. Okay, I'm going to turn around and we're going to walk outside of the park and up onto the hill to my left. Let's just go over here quickly first and look out through these windows. There's a couple of more signs here. Just grab postcards of them. I won't read from them. There's this one. Here's out through the windows. This is a cool shot, and I'm going to zoom in for this one. Look at the grass growing up here. And I can hear frogs. Love it. Guardian of the portal, yeah. Okay, and then this one talks about the cooling pond and the pump house. So if we look over here to my right, you can see the well. And the various cooling ponds. There's a heap of other signs, as you can see on those fences over there. We don't have time to go and see them all. I think I've showed you different ones today than what I did last time. So we're getting a slightly different point of view. And there again is that amazing piece of slag. So interesting. And listen to the frogs. Okay, let's go over here, up the hill and over to the lake. I just got to find my way out of here. Alrighty, so over here, I want to see if I can get a shot of that piece of slag through this. I'm going for the artistic shot, and I don't know if it's going to work because I can't kneel. I just can't get down low enough. How are we going? Can you see it? You can certainly hear my knees creaking. Oh, get up. Okay, there we go. So these are the main players involved in the site. We have William Sanford from 1841 to 1932. His involvement was from, let me see, this is a timeline of the history of the area rather than specifically him, but this gives you an idea of the timeline. The second one was Charles Hoskins. Men of Steel, yes, I know. Well, it was steel. It was the steel industry. So the Great War had a big impact in the demands on the industry for Lithgow. The iron industry, of course, was hugely relied upon for manufacturing during the war. And then it talks about how, lacking strong leadership, facing high freight charges and using ore of valuable quality, the venture was unable to compete with imported pig iron. Hi, Viola. And this talks about the politics. Coal, steel, rail, all important industries to the area and to Australia, and still remains so today. Okay. Over here on my right, we have a bit of an exhibit for a railway museum, and it shows coal trucks. So, again, important to Lithgow's economy. And spray painters everywhere. What time do we have? 43 minutes. Since it's cloudy and dull, I won't go all the way to the top of this hill to the viewing platform here. We'll head down to the lake instead. But while we're at this vantage point, I will show you the two structures side by side. So if we zoom in from here, we might be able to frame it nicely against those clouds and that sky. And I do like the view through those window frames as well. Okay. Oh, hello there. Good morning. Oh, don't jump on me though. No jumping. He just came over to say hello. All right, so over here, thanks, Stevie. Over here, look at the clouds over here too, by the way. What a stunning sky. Lake Pillans wetlands. So the two cooling ponds that were used during the time of the steel manufacture when the blast furnace was operational have now been rehabilitated and turned into wetlands. And there's a lovely walk that goes around the two lakes now. With lots of frogs, I can hear them. And what's an interesting juxtaposition, I guess, is over there in the background, those orange trains. They're meant to be in use. They're just waiting. They're waiting for government to sort out a dispute with the unions before they get put into use. So they're just sitting here parked in the meantime while there's an industrial dispute over all sorts of things, over safety, all sorts of things. Thank you, Hadrian. I appreciate your support. Thank you. So on the way down this path, there's a little bit of a sculpture trail. So I need to get into a into the right position to take advantage of this. I wonder if I get down low what sort of background I can get for this. I might be better to get down below it, I think. And featured in the work is these two sort of representations of flowers. Thanks, Rob and Anne. So again, as a metalworking town, there's lots of creativity with ironwork. Let's see, can I get this against the sky? I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. I hope it's nothing too serious. We're going to go down and hear some frogs. So I left my daughter with the car. She should be back soon, hopefully. She's the one that's just bought a house in Lithgow. She literally hasn't moved in yet, taking stock of what work needs to be done. Hi, Terry. Hi, Marcy. Eat it, thank you so much. And still just see the blast furnace peeping over the top of the hill as we walk down. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Harry. No, not sure that works. We'll zoom out again. Last time I was down here, there was a magpie. I wonder if this is the same one. And it was almost like a welcoming committee. Magpies are known for swooping. No, I totally understand, Stevie, and it's not an expectation. I welcome everyone's generosity when they can, and by no means do I expect it. Of course, it helps, but no, I do understand. So I wonder if these magpies are going to give me the welcome they did last time I was down here. I normally just talk to them. I say hi. Hello there. You're not going to be nasty to me, are you? Nope. Good morning. We're just going this way. You go that way. Do you hear the frogs? And I'm not absolutely sure, but I think this pink flower here might be salsify. Not absolutely certain. There's another ball of slag. Isn't this lovely now? And at one time, the locals used to swim here. It was very warm because it was coming off the off the steelworks. So you can imagine probably a lot of toxic chemicals, heavy metals in the lake at that time, I would imagine. Now that sounds like a baby magpie to me. Got some duckies out there on the pond. Which way shall I go? I think this is a dead end this way. We'll go the other way. Now I just heard a magpie singing. It's one of the loveliest calls. The magpie, the Australian magpie, is the largest songbird, and we'll listen out for it because it's really lovely. There he is. Not that, that's a crow. You going to sing for us again? It was singing a moment ago. Salute alone, magpie. That's interesting, Trish. I always say hello to them. I've only ever been swooped once. For those who don't know, the Australian magpie is notorious for swooping in nesting season. They're literally just protecting their nest. Did you hear that? That was the magpie singing. It stopped again. Every time I talk, he starts. That was it. Did you hear it that time? Anyway, magpies are notorious for swooping, and all they're doing is protecting their nest. They're also believed to have excellent memory, and it's believed they can recognise up to 100 faces. So if you're nice to them, if they know you're not a threat, they remember who you are, and they'd leave you alone, basically. Stevie, I'd love to show it to you. If ever you do manage to make it over this... Oh, hello there. Look, see? Look, right above us. Yeah, no, I know, Stevie. We've talked about it. I'm across some of your challenges and totally understand. So I hope that the tours that I do with you, you enjoy for that reason. Now, he's turned his back on us now. So basically what I meant to say was if anything ever changes and if you do ever find yourself this far away from home, I'd be happy to be your personal guide. You were swooped, Bronwyn? Oh, that's horrible if that happens. The only time I've ever been swooped was when I was cycling. So I was riding my e-bike through a park in Sydney, and a bit of a downhill stretch, so I was going a little bit fast, and I got swooped, but I was wearing a helmet, so I was lucky. It was a bit of a shock, but that's the only time it's ever happened. That was a rosella that just buzzed me there, flying through. Would have been too quick for the camera, I think. All right, so we're just coming up to almost an hour. I don't remember how much I allocated to this tour. So what I think I'll do is head back towards my car, where my car should now be parked, if my daughter's back by now. And we'll finish off over there in the car park. I missed that. Maxine, what are you saying? In reply to Trish. One for sorrow, two for joy. Beautiful. I love them. I love all our Australian birds. All right, let's head back towards the car park. I'm so happy the signal held for this tour. And we'll just see the path from the opposite angle, which is always different, getting a different perspective. And I hope you've enjoyed the gentle, quiet solitude to a certain extent of the tour this morning. That's definitely a baby magpie making that squawking noise up there. Oh, thanks, Stevie. You're too kind to me. I love your feedback on my tours. You're very enthusiastic. Okay, I can hear it. I don't know what you've experienced, Trish, but it sounds like you've had an ordeal, and I'm sorry for that. And I'm glad I've been able to help in some way. Oh, nearly tripped. Oh, I'm still on my feet. It's like my granddaughter in the back of the car. She'll cough or sneeze or something like that, and then she'll go, I'm okay. Anyway, I'm okay. I'm still on my feet. I didn't fall. We're just listening to the frogs. This is an interesting plant. I don't know what it is. Let's get up close for a look. I think it's something that's about to burst into flower, though. It might be a tea tree. Yeah, they're definitely flower buds, aren't they? It's going to be a mass of white, I think, very soon. Okay, so we'll head back up the path. You're welcome, Robin Ann. So my next tour, I've got 2 days off. I've got my uncle and his wife. They're going to come and stay overnight tomorrow night and park their camper van in our driveway. For anyone who's been on my We're Leaving the Mountains tour, I plan to do another one of those. You'll understand that we don't have any furniture, so we can't actually accommodate guests. So they're going to camp overnight in our driveway tomorrow night. So the next time you'll see me is on Friday, where I'll be back at Echo Point to see the beautiful Three Sisters majestic rock formation that the Blue Mountains is famous for, located in Katoomba. So that's on Friday morning my time, which for anyone in the US is what time is that? It's probably really early morning. No, it's not. It's about midday, I think. Midday, early afternoon on Thursday, I think, for you guys. I always get my times roundabout. That's my daughter over there. Shh, she thinks I haven't seen her. There she goes, trying to stay out of view and being very unsuccessful. Okay, let's, as I said, I'll just get back to the car park and then I'll finish off over there. That's Natalie. We'll have one last shot of the blast furnace from the car park, and I'll turn the camera around and farewell you all from there. They're rather gorgeous, Trish, in different light situations. They're really interesting. I've got one more board to show you, and that's about the lakes that we just went down and had a look at. Okay, so this is about Lake Pillins. And for Australians, you probably know the name Coogee. Coogee is a beach in Sydney. It's a lovely beach, and the the residents of Lithgow back in those early days, more than 100 years ago, thought they had their own little lake, little Coogee Beach. So this talks about the appeal of swimming here because the water was very warm, but it was heavily contaminated with heavy metals from the dumping of slag and waste material from the smelters. And then since 1994, the Lithgow community has rehabilitated the site. So you sound a bit like me, Stevie. I don't quite put it as poetically as you have, but yes, I do love the clouds. Look at this one here. I reckon if you use your imagination, you can make something from that. All right, I'm going to turn the camera around. That's my little red car over there. Okay, all right, I hope everyone's enjoyed being with me this morning. I've loved wandering around and clambering over this fantastic site, and I've enjoyed your company in doing so. So hopefully we'll see you again on another tour very soon, and I look forward to meeting again in the very near future. So let's just sign off with one last shot. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Maxine. Lovely to have you on board. Let's just finish off with one last shot of the blast furnace. There we go. And the slag ball over there in the background. Alrighty, thanks everybody, and see you again very soon. Bye for now.